Dame in gospodje, v čast mi je, da vas lahko pozdravim v imenu Gospodarske zbornice Slovenije in v imenu Združenja za inženiring. Gospodarska zbornica Slovenije in Združenje inženiring je v zadnjem obdobju zelo aktivno pri energetski transformaciji Slovenije in pri zasnovi energetskega koncepta Slovenije. Optimizacija izdatkov za elektriko je pomembna za družbe, ki proizvajajo, izvajajo storitve ali prodajajo blago. Po drugi strani pa je pomembna tudi za gospodinjstva, individualne hiše in stanovanjske soseske. Nove platforme in tehnologije veriženja podatkovnih blokov, ki nadzorujejo porabo električne energije v realnem času, upravljajo naprave, zbirajo in obdelujejo podatke uporabnikov platforme in jih nato posredujejo naprej, postajajo aktualna tema tudi v slovenskem prostoru. Tudi v četrtek bomo na to temo razpravljali na konferenci o energetskem prehodu, kjer bo prisoten tudi podpredsednik Evropske skupnosti za energijo, gospod Maroš Šefčevič. In tudi tej problematiki poslovnih modelov bomo namenili pozornost na tej konferenci. Dear guests, I am honored to welcome you on behalf of Chamber of Commerce and Industry of Slovenia. Engineering Association is a member of Chamber of Industry and Commerce, and Robotina is also our member of Združenje za inženiring. Our association is involved in preparation of a new energy concept of Slovenia, where energy efficiency and increasing of renewable sources is a very important item. Slovenia has a very ambitious target in energy transformation. We are glad that our member company Robotina is introducing its platform for optimization of cost for electrical energy and is participating in energy efficiency in Slovenia. I wish you a successful conference. Thank you.
So, thank you very much, Vekoslav. Ladies and gentlemen, a very good afternoon in my name to you who are present here and to all who are following us through the live stream. We are streaming live in many countries, and we will try to tell you some interesting things today. So, as already introduced, we are talking about energy. Energy is the next big thing. Why? First of all, because energy is the single biggest economy, the single biggest contributor to the GDP of most of the countries, or influencer, I would say. But also because the cost of energy and the energy consumption is going up. Electrical energy is the energy of the moment, and we are changing dramatically the many things in the electrical energy world. For this moment, please look at these two slides. On the right-hand side, we have the consumption, so how the electrical energy is consumed. More than 50% of the electrical energy is consumed in the buildings. And the lower pie is the cost of the electrical energy. Only about 50% of the electrical energy cost is the generation itself. About a quarter of this cost is the availability, the constant availability of the electricity. So it is logical that if we try to do something, we act on the biggest costs first. So, look at the opportunity. We are talking about 3 trillion euro market at this moment. And in the buildings, we consume about half of this. And if we just consume less, what we can do with the technologies and with the right approach, and we consume in a different time, we can save about 260 billion euro, which is not a little money. So there is a magic formula, very simple. Reduce consumption and balance the grid, or use when the electricity is cheap. So when we talk about solutions nowadays, the first thing that comes to our mind is technology. So when you talk about technology, we think about the new technologies like Internet of Things, like blockchain or artificial intelligence. But what do we practically do, or what do we practically think at the moment somebody says save energy? How do you save energy? And the answer, how do you save energy at home? They tell us buy more. Buy new energy-saving appliances. Buy better fridge. Buy better air conditioner. Use the energy-saving bulbs. This is what they tell us. Are we happy with this? We'll see. And if we look at it from the grid, from the utility perspective, they tell us bring the regulator and make it more strict. Get better control, but everything from the top down. Use power. Is this the really right way to do it? Let us think. So in your history, in your experience, what does bring better results? Using muscles or using brain? Using muscles or brain? Who is for muscles? Who is for brain? Wow, everybody is using brain. So what do we need? Do we need an evolution or do we need a revolution? Let us explore together. So, looking at the energy landscape from a little bit bigger perspective. We have everything in place to make our electricity grids better, smarter. There are legal frameworks which is here. There is technology which is here, and there is thinking about a smart grid. And on the other hand, we can use smart approaches. We can try to invest little or even nothing, and we can start saving now. So we are looking at the solutions which will be future-oriented, which will help to save energy, reduce the unnecessary consumption of energy, and which will, at the end of the day, help us to save our planet. Because we just have one planet, and we have to keep it for the children and others coming after us. So all what we will do today is we will talk about how we in Robotina intend to do this, or how we are doing it. So the colleagues here will talk to you about the Robotina IoT platform, will tell you about the energy efficiency, will tell you about home energy efficiency, will tell you about building energy efficiency, and of course we will touch also the very new things like blockchain, like Robotina utility token, ROCs, like many other things. So we'll take the questions after the colleagues will be talking. And it's my pleasure to introduce Andrei Novak, who will tell you something about home energy management system and about smart homes. Thank you.
So, David, thank you for introduction. As said, I will show you a presentation about smart homes, home automation. In Robotina, we call home automation HIQ, as home intelligence. And this presentation will be in connection with the energy efficiency and home energy management system together with HIQ. What are the advantages of our home automation system called HIQ? We as a company, we are originating from industrial automation. And this is the reason why HIQ Home Automation is reliable due to industry standards of production. Second thing, HIQ is very easy to apply into buildings or homes. Third thing, it's very easy to set it up with a graphical user interface, which we developed. It's called HIQ Configurator. You can see it on the picture. And on the last thing, it's very user-friendly to end user. You can see also HIQ Commander, so smartphone application to command our smart homes. Without doubt, we can say that HIQ Home Automation is technology that works. And we have proven this with many examples in Slovenia and also around the world. Which are the main objects, the main things we would like to control in our homes? First is comfort control. As comfort, we think about lights, different type of lights, about shades, and of course, thermal control. Then we talk about safety and security in our houses. And on the end, of course, today's topic, energy efficiency. So saving electricity, money, and on the end, our planet. In Robotina, we look at our home as a unit, not as a bunch of devices. So this is the reason why HIQ is controlling our home with scenes. For example, you want to watch a movie in the evening, but you don't want to bother standing up, turning off lights, turning down shades, turning on LED lights or dimmable lights. You can just press a button on your smartphone application and HIQ will do it for you. And the same situation you can think of in every other situation. So HIQ can adapt to your needs. The same is with thermal comfort. You can either control it with timetables or schedules, or via phone application when you're not at home. So when arriving, your home is already warm, waiting for you. Next thing, as I said before, is safety and security. HIQ, so our home automation, can transform everyday use sensors to alarm sensors when we are not at home. And it will let us know if something unusual is happening in our house. So for example, if CO2 level is rising in our house when we are not at home, we can be sure that something unaccepted is happening. And HIQ will let us know. Second thing about security is, of course, access control. So with our application, we can either allow or not allow somebody to enter our house. Next thing connected with controlling our house, our home, is how do we control it? There are many possible ways to control it, to control our houses with HIQ. Either classical way with buttons, and later on we can use smartphone application. Already explained it, the HIQ Commander. We can use tablet application, we call it My HIQ, and also application on personal computer. Of course, there is also control via cloud if we want to control our house when we are not at home. HIQ automations. Now we can, till now I was explaining about, let's say, electrical installation. But now we can start to speak about smart houses. So, how HIQ will be happy when you will come home and it will turn on lights, lift shades, and put on heating for you. And the opposite will happen when you will leave your house. So all the devices will be turned on, off. HIQ can even lower your lights when not needed and save electricity and money for you. It can also help you to more easily wake up in the morning with gradually lifting shades and turning on heating. HIQ even know when you're going to bed, and then it will also turn off the lights and the appliances which you have connected on the system. So again, we will save electricity and money. Now to the topic of energy efficiency. HIQ has a possibility to make our home as efficient as possible. So it will help us to understand when and how do we use our electrical energy. It can also help us to use our loads, so devices, when we generate our own solar electricity or when the price of electricity is cheaper. Also, it can maximize our self-consumption with using battery storage. Furthermore, we can gain even more benefits with connecting to HIQ Universe IoT platform. My colleagues will explain later more about it. And we can also save energy and money and contribute to the green society by becoming an active prosumer. So that's from my side. If you have some questions, please let me know at the moment. Otherwise, I would like to introduce Mr. Hubert, who will have a presentation about HEMS and implementation example. Thank you very much.
Hello everybody, welcome. My name is Hubert Gole. I'm a product manager at Robotina for Energy Management Solutions. And I would like to speak with you about how to involve a residential prosumer in energy revolution, evolution, something. So how to take an active part. As a start, I will try to put us in the shoes of a German house owner, a residential house owner who already has our system. So why did he get such a system? What benefits does he come from the system? I will take a risk and try to connect live to internet. So here it is. This is a live system now somewhere in northern Germany. This is our typical customer actually in Germany. The house owner has a photovoltaic plant on the rooftop. You can see it produces 2.4 kilowatt at the moment. The house owner also has a battery storage system, which has 9.1 kilowatt, 10 kilowatt hours of battery capacity. It is, of course, connected to electrical grid, and the house is a consumer. So we focus here on the house, not on individual equipment, but a house as a building. Usually our customers are very much interested into the figure up here, how much am I green? This means how much of my own consumption am I able to take from my renewable solar roof or from battery? Of course, the next question is, what do I achieve within the day? You can see today there's a nice sunny day in northern Germany. This is shown by the envelope orange line here, which is showing the production from the PV rooftop plant. The other line, the blue line, is showing the consumption at the connection point of the building to the grid. So you can see that there's plenty of, no, now it's not in the morning when the sun was starting to produce electrical energy. The consumption, which is the blue line, was taken from the solar plant directly. Before, in the nighttime, the production was fueled from the battery, and then after the battery was emptied, the house took the electricity from the grid. This is the red surface right here. Then, when the sun comes out, we get more and more electrical energy from solar rooftop, and we are able to cover all needs here at 9:30. Everything is fueled by the PV. Then, all of a sudden, we have excess of electrical power from the roof, and that's why the battery is here. The house owner wants to increase or maximize his own consumption. That's why the surplus of electrical energy is stored into the battery. And after the battery cannot take the energy, the excess is fueled into the grid. So you see the profile of consumption. Now it seems we'll have an early afternoon peak. And PV is not enough, so something is again taken from the electrical grid. Let's take a look at the yesterday performance. You can again see very nice shiny day. All what was needed was taken from the renewable, and the day before shows that also from grid it was really just a small amount of energy taken from the grid. Below you can see performance of the battery. At 11 o'clock it was 100% full, and then in the afternoon the energy was discharged to feed the consumption in the house. So the house owner knows exactly each day what is the profile of PV, how much do I produce, how much do I consume, do I match demand, response, am I self-sufficient, so to say. Of course, self-sufficiency here is not the big thing. It's, of course, the how the owner perceives the equipment, but of course he is connected to the grid, and always will also be, because in we'll take a look at one day, let's say in January. Of course, then the situation is completely different. So you can see the green surface showing that only a little PV, or no, there's no PV here. So, no, sorry, this green surface is taken from the PV, but all the rest is taken from the grid. This is very normal in winter time in mid-Europe, and only a bit was put into the battery. Then the house owner would like to know what do I achieve throughout the month? What are my daily achievements within the month, each day? What do I get out of my equipment? Because she invested, you might say, 10 to 15,000 euro in the equipment. So how do I perform? And this index over here is showing the level of being self-sufficient. Of course, it differs from day to day. The average within the complete month is 68%. So the house owner can be quite happy with this result. Monthly consumption and monthly production also are almost aligned, which is also good. This is also good for Slovene scenario right now, which is net metering. So the user will not pay that much for the grid electricity, and also will not feed in back into the grid too much. And the user can also see what is the monthly consumption, but not only as a sum, but also the daily profile. When is my peak consumption? Why? So he or she can think about his own consumption in the house. How can I reduce the consumption? Also, the user can see whether the battery capacity is okay, whether there could be more rooftop solar, things like that. And the most important thing, I would say, is also to be aware of the yearly production and consumption. So what do I achieve? Let's take a look at year 2017, when we have a complete year. What do I achieve throughout the year? Again, consumption and production is pretty much matched. And of course, there will be not systems which are disconnected from the grid. We want to, by this system, we want to maximize or to enable the house owner to maximize self-consumption by usage of his own rooftop PV, battery storage, and then the owner can start to think about how can I increase my self-consumption? How can I get rid of this yellow surface which is showing that this energy was feed into the grid, and vice versa? How could I improve own generation in winter months? So by this, the user, the homeowner, can be quite satisfied. He or she is contributing to green society, contributing to renewable energy sources. So the system shows the performance. What would you be interested in if you would be a house owner of a system like this? Do you have any idea what would arouse your attention?
For example, what is the return on investment of those 50,000 euros?
Yes, this is a good question. And this is particularly a good question for Germany. Thank you for this question, because the ROI actually comes from the conditions, the regulation that are put in the German market. And this says that the grid electricity bought for house consumption is charged by 29 euro cents per kilowatt hour. On the other hand, the yellow, when you feed into the grid, you get only 12 or something euro cents for kilowatt hour. So this gives you the ratio of return about 8 to 10 years nowadays in Germany. And of course the feed-in tariff goes down to zero, and they say also that the price of energy will go up. So basically the decision to invest in such a system is based on this. Let me help the green society, let me feel secure about my future and not exposed to risks of increased prices in future. Because the system is in operation for 20 years, so the remaining from, let's say, 8 to 20 is something that you really earn. To give just a short note on situation now in Slovenia, of course this scenario does not work. When you have net metering, as it is now implemented in Slovenia, you only care about yearly achievement. So is this matched? In principle, the difference is not too big, either in one or in the other direction, then I'm satisfied. So nobody really cares what happens within the day. All this burden, you might say burden, when you get really a lot of PV, is then put on the grid operator, and this is what we speak about in the next section. I will skip the slides which I prepared for safety where there would be no internet. So this is like a wrap-up. Yesterday there was Earth Day, you know, 22nd of April. So how can I help to save the blue planet? As we said, by promoting or investing in renewable power, by minimizing usage of fossil fuels, self-consumption of the green energy. Of course, green efficiency is also here. So with our system, we actually promote green thinking attitude at the house owners. But then the other part. So as I said, there are different concepts to promote investments in renewable energy sources, and you might know that there were huge supportive schemes in Germany called feed-in tariff 10, 15 years back, when users could earn up to 50 euro cents per kilowatt hours. Of course, at the price of equipment, this was not as today. But the strategy was to lower the feed-in tariff yearly, and by this, the challenges which arise somehow motivate people to cooperate in bringing the stability of electrical grid, which is now in transformation. So in the second part, I will speak about what are the challenges and what are the opportunities of using HEMS, Home Energy Management System, to participate in a community. So this quite complicated graph is showing how the electrical grid operates. Traditional electrical grid is top-down. So from high voltage to low voltage, the generators are fueling the energy from producers to the users. Heavy industry on high voltage, medium voltage, and low voltage for consumers, commercial and households. So this was strict top-down. It was relatively easy to control the grid and the consumption, so this was manageable. Then when the percentage of renewable energies is starting to be really considerable. You know that in Germany now there are more than 70 gigawatt of photovoltaic energy and 70 gigawatt of wind. This then brings instability in the electrical grid because all those renewables are volatile. You cannot really predict them, or you cannot control them. So, and the other part is that the generation is coming also from the on the low voltage from the consumer side. So the landscape of electrical grid is pretty much changed. So, and there are real challenges here. How to enable massive integration of renewables, how to balance energy generation and consumption in time, how to assure stability, and the real change will come with e-mobility. This will be a real game changer. So the question is how to possibly avoid huge investments into transforming the electrical grid. And just a few figures from Germany again. They said, this is an energy vendor from Germany, that by 2050, Germany will be 80% on renewables. Nuclear power plants will be closed by 2023. And in 2020, there should be 1 million electrical cars. So this will really make dramatic change, and huge investments will be required unless something is done on active cooperation of all stakeholders in the electrical grid. So this brings us to the main idea how, with HEMS systems provided by Robotina and HIQ Universe, which integrates HEMSs in one platform, prosumers can contribute to electrical grid stability. These are the houses all over the place. Each house has its own, as we saw, consumption profile. It might have the rooftop generator, electrical car, whatever. So each house has its own energy profile. This means that when you promote the feed-in tariff, everybody will just feed in electricity into the grid, and on the grid it will cause the congestion, or there will be excess of electricity when there is peak production. And another way, when there's peak consumption, again, you have no contribution from them. So our idea is that we aggregate the prosumers, the houses, by their own energy management systems, aggregate them on the level of HIQ universe, create flexibility of usage of electrical energy in time, and offer this flexibility to grid operators to more easily or dynamically manage the electrical grid by participation of HEMS prosumers. I will show a few examples from the projects that we already are in, how this idea is put into practice. So the first example is coming from Slovenia. We now have one demonstration project called NEDO project, because it's supported by NEDO governmental agency from Japan. The main project partner is Hitachi. And there are many Slovene technology and solution providers, and also all major Slovene stakeholders are in the consortium of the companies. The main idea of this project is to lower the critical peak. So let's face the regional grid situation where we know that there are certain grid congestions in certain days. In this region, it's in Ptuj, there's a transformer station which has real congestions in winter time. So the idea is, let's forecast where the congestion will be in the grid. Let's activate the flexibility of the prosumers, and let's charge them if they don't obey the... So it's a give and take. The critical peak will be extremely expensive, 10 times the cost of usual tariff. So let us try to activate the prosumers, but the grid operator is limited to 50 hours per year. Because also there was analysis done that 50 hours per year could very well adopt the grid conditions. So there are three ways to do this. One is simply by sending SMS messages to the household owners. They are not punished with 10 times bill, but the others two are. So direct disconnection of some loads by central system. And the third situation is introduction of HEMS, which can be much more flexible than these two, which you cannot really control, or you can have very good results at the very beginning with sending SMS, but then people might not follow anymore. So the HEMS system is integrated in the house energy management, and also it is idea to integrate it later on with smart home automation. So the HEMS prosumers get activation automatically. Server-to-server communication between ARIA server and HEMS server, HIQ universe, sends the forecast for the next day. And here in the upper left corner you can see one such scenario. It was it in April? So this month. And this is the activation. So between 7 and 8 p.m., this is the critical peak. So our HEMS system receives this from the server and then activates at the prosumer that the significant loads are switched off. And by this, you can see this very clearly. The peak consumption is really minimized. Of course, we cannot switch everything, but what is controllable, we take into the system, and we assure, really guarantee that this will be reached. And there are also results already available from the grid operator, Elektromaribor. They say that when they did the activation, the result as a whole was reduction of critical peak by, in average, 30%. So the achievement is quite good, and it shows that the potential, although you might say one house, of course, does not contribute a lot, but when you put many houses in the region, you can really achieve, especially local targets. You can be really dynamic in this reduction of peak, which is, again, very good for the DSO because they might avoid some huge investments in the grid at the region, in cables or in transformer station, whatever the situation is at the site. Another example of the smart grid implementation is a project also supported by NEDO, governmental agency from Japan, again with Hitachi Chemical here, one of the major vendors of lithium-ion batteries globally. And they selected Robotina to deliver the energy management system for the project. The project also, on the German side, so the project is in Speyer in Germany. The idea is to prepare an energy management model for future. So from feed-in tariff system, Eigenverbrauch, as Germans say, to participating optimization of usage according to local circumstances. And in this particular project, these local circumstances are reflected in price of energy. So price of energy is set hourly. Each hour, 1 to 4 days ahead, gets particular energy price, electrical and also heat. So our system is prepared in the way that it is able to optimize the in-house production and consumption accordingly so that the user has minimum costs. And the DSO gets good stability of the grid. So Domen will later on tell much more about this, but just to say about what are the main features. So it is a 16-apartment house in Speyer, Germany, which was completely reconstructed from gas to electrical generation. The heating system is, heat pump is installed, rooftop PV is installed, and a lot of batteries in the basement that help us to manage the energy flow in daily cycle. You can see below, but Domen will speak more of this in detail. So what we do here in our EMS, we make prediction for in-house consumption for 1 to 4 days ahead based on machine learning algorithms, which started May 2016. We forecast the PV generation on the basis of weather prognosis, regional, of course, for the next day and 4 days ahead. Then we get from the system, we get hourly prices of electrical energy. And by this, dynamic optimization algorithms are run each hour, and they give us the state of equipment for the next hour. We get SOC for the batteries, we have temperature for the heat pump and for heat reservoirs, and by this, we really adopt to what DSO needs. So this is really, I might say, state-of-the-art implementation of smart grid project. And the third one is H2020, European-funded research and development, but mostly it's implementation, demonstration project, which puts together the stakeholders who are all relevant to take this smart grid into consideration. So there are DSOs from Germany, Switzerland, and Cyprus. There are institutions, faculties, universities that help them in local implementation of such a system. There are solution providers from Slovenia, 3 companies, INEA, Etrel, and Robotina. And there is IBM as a managing partner. So it's quite a challenging project. Our ambition is to set up a vertically integrated solution which will enable dynamic trading of electrical flexibility. So when you have a potential to adapt to something by changing your behavior of electrical consumption, you offer this to the grid operator or to the system, to the automatic trading platform. We call this like flex offer. You send flex offer to the platform. Platform knows what is the situation in the market, because this is reflected by energy price, which is in the market changed constantly. And then they give us feedback information whether we should increase consumption, minimize it, or what would be the schedule for the next hour, 4 hours, whatever the period. By this, by active prosumers' participation of home, small business, factories, and e-mobility, the ambition of this project is to enable grid stability. And this will be implemented and demonstrated in all 3 locations: in Wunsiedel, Germany, Sion, Switzerland, and Nicosia in Cyprus. So we also want to see what are the regional special challenges, what will be the impacts. So we are looking very forward, because this implementation phase starts June this year. Robotina delivers 70 HEMS systems and 7 systems for e-mobility. So this is something like a wrap-up for this mind shift that we are trying to enable, or to enable the change into decentralized energy market, which is implemented massively with renewable energy sources. So traditional, on the left hand, there are concepts like feed-in tariff, limitation of PV generation by just maximizing the PV output, net metering, fixed daily tariffs. So the core thing is that all these concepts put all the burden onto grid operators. All the costs, all the burden, everything is on the operator. The investors just take money from governmental support, incentives, and they are happy. So they only care about maximum production and return on investment. So this has to be changed when the renewables will be implemented massively, because we need really dynamic grid stability. There are concepts which I just showed a few: automatic trading with flexibilities, dynamic tariff system, dynamic peak reduction, and all of those really want to activate the flexibility at the consumers and to make them prosumers. So the time horizon changes from year or month to day, hour, or 15 minutes, or even less, to be really dynamically responsive. And this should really bring win-win situation for all stakeholders which are involved. Do you have any comments maybe here? Somebody from the audience, do you agree with this basic idea, basic concept? Yes?
I understand right. If I understand right, this is the sharing of electricity between these stakeholders.
Sorry, can you please repeat? I did not really get the point.
If I understand right, this is the sharing of electricity, of access of electricity between these stakeholders.
So the idea is that each of the stakeholders, so this means the transmission grid, the DSOs, the traders with electrical energy, and the consumers, they all look at the real viable challenging items which can make the difference. So not that each one of them is taking benefits and the other is financing this, but that real relevant issues are addressed in the right way. And this, with all these renewables installed in the grid, means dynamic optimization of usage, matching the production. This is the main idea. And as said, the real game changer will be massive implementation of electrical cars, because I guess many of you are aware that it is not possible to fuel a lot of electrical cars somewhere with the existing grid. So huge investments will have to be made to enable this, but this is then the right approach.
Okay.
So briefly, what are the benefits that we offer to HEMS customers, home owners? So we really put home into the focus. The house owner can understand when, how the electricity is consumed, can decide whether there makes any sense to shift energy consumption in time based on some tariff models. When the electricity is cheap, do I get some real ROI or not? This is based on the regulation, on the DSOs and on the government. Connected to the HIQ universe, the IoT platform, which Dusan will tell more after me, the user can get additional benefits by connecting to the smart grid and really save money, and by this contribute to green society. I read yesterday that 93% of German citizens are really very much in favor of this concept, just as a mindset that they share. So if you take the guy from the first slides into this, you can understand that he really benefits a lot by being an active prosumer. And for the business customers, our standard EMS features can be customized for particular business cases at the business customers. So our energy management algorithms, which enable to get flexibility out of consumer, can be adopted to particular. In Cyprus you have air conditioners, in Germany you have heat pumps, so there are some differences. We can offer our HIQ Universe IT platform as a service, or it can be installed on site. We are able to implement machine learning algorithms and dynamic optimization. We can integrate smart home automation. This makes the most of the synergy in a house, smart home and energy management, battery storage, solar production, etc. And we offer aggregation on the HIQ platform. And last but not least, our system is able to be remotely upgraded. So as the new business models are being developed, HEMS user can get new software, new feature as a service remotely. So we can remotely upgrade the way the HEMS operates. And by this also, of course, enable operation and maintenance support for our business partners. Thank you for your attention. I can take one or two questions.
Yes, thank you very much for your presentation. I wonder if you have any calculations regarding, let's say, cost for CO2 emission reduction for 20% by 2030 or something like that. What would be the result if we, let's say, include 50% of Slovenian homes into such a system? And of course, what would be the cost of investment?
Thank you for your question. Unfortunately, we do not have such a calculation in the company. We are bottom-up provider. So we want to enable the implementation of such system, but the relation to policies, national policies, and the calculations, as you said, should come somewhere in between. So we'd like to share with you what we, how we see. We prepared a bunch of products. Just now we have new family of HEMS products which enable easy retrofit installations, because we know that we have to enable retrofit, meaning in existing house with no wiring, with wireless implementation to make it easy and cheap. So we want to enable massive implementation of such systems, because one house does not bring a lot of tons CO2, but then plenty, they really contribute.
I would also like to thank you for your presentation. My question is, do you see that you said that the granularity of the data will be 15 minutes. Do you think this is granular enough to make decisions when all this will go massively?
Thank you. Relevant question. And you put it right. 15 minutes interval is good for observation, maybe for billing. But 15-minute interval basically is the average of the... So this is the difference in look from energy, 15-minute consumed energy, and power, which is within the interval up and down. So we always look at the average for the 15-minute interval. But of course, the control algorithms are, you might say, real time. So the algorithms run in the controller, which is industrial controller. So it's on the range of 20 milliseconds. And the rules which are implemented also are obeyed like in the control automation. So we follow the scenario, you can say in real time, but then for aggregation, billing, things like that, we put things in the database, storage, history, analysis. We make this in 15-minute interval.
Thank you.
And just one more, there's also local level, which is real time, and there's cloud level, which does not have to be real time. From cloud, we have criteria, we get decisions. As mentioned in the Speyer project, we get SOC for the battery for the next hour or so, but then we follow the scenario within that particular interval. And of course, changes are always there. Consumption goes up and down, generation goes up and down, and then we comply with this change situation in real time to be able to deliver at the end of the interval what was forecasted.
Many thanks also from my side for your presentation. I would like to know if you have already implemented some power quality monitoring systems within your solutions, because from other side we know that many energy devices, smart devices can produce different disturbances like harmonic disturbances, transient disturbances within the network grid, So I'm, let's say, interested in if you already, let's say, have some such a device integrated within or monitoring, or how this is solved from this perspective.
So basically, we do not get deep into this by implementing components like hybrid inverter, three-phase hybrid inverter. One thing is that we can make even distribution of power on the three-phase, which is also a challenge. Then harmonics also, but this is more or less on the level of component. So we have one particular very interesting new project just starting this month in Cyprus, where Fronius, as major inverter vendor, will be included also for these things, because yes, the quality of grid also might be suffering when you have this decentralized energy generators all over the place. So it's extremely important.
Many thanks.
Thank you. So to be on time, maybe one last.
Thank you. Just a short question. Do you have any estimation or concrete value? What is the cost for residential house for implement your solution?
So the cost of actual implementation can vary really a lot. So as I mentioned, we prepared a wireless solution based on our industrial controller. At the moment, this is our valid product configuration. We just not invented. We just developed a home linker, which is a Raspberry Pi computer, which can also work as a home controller, and is then the solution there is significantly cheaper. But our ambition, and this is also why we started ICO, is that we really go into redesign of our products for the mass implementation. So we are trying to get funds to go into the next cycle of product reinvention and to really bring the costs on the level of 150, 200 euro per installation. Of course, then the auxiliary devices which enable to connect the loads also impact the price of the system in-house. So at the end, we believe that the devices or the loads, the systems will be connected in the cloud at server-to-server communication, so there will be no real physical installation for, let's say, connecting the heat pump. We can get the data from the web, right, from the cloud. So we are sure that for massive implementation, cost has to be low, and we are heading into this with our initiative. So thank you. Dusan will be my successor. He will tell more about the IoT platform.
Thank you, Hubert. It was really extensive. Wow. Okay, I cannot find it, but it's here. Okay. As Hubert mentioned, my name is Dusan Janic. Good afternoon to everybody. I will try to put some light what Robotina IoT platform is and what it can do for you. So we can have different views what Robotina IoT platform is. First is just technical. Let's say it's Internet of Things with artificial intelligence and blockchain. I will explain this all pieces a little bit later. And okay, doesn't work. Next one is you can have a view from the economical, commercial view. It's energy bill optimization and trading platform. Also a little bit explained later. And then it's a way to do the right thing. This is the more responsible green look of this. It was a little bit colored before, and I will talk just a little bit about this. And as we like to think, it's all of the above and even more. Now, if you go to the first one, it's Internet of Things. This means when you became a member of the community, you get the energy management system hardware device that is installed in the fuse box or near, and this device starts to collect data about your consumption of your devices and behavior of your devices. Behavior is also important, but we will talk about later further. Then artificial intelligence. As I mentioned, this EMS device also, this data that collects, transfers it into the cloud, and also gets the data or orders from the cloud. Artificial intelligence is the brain behind all this platform, and it breaks down this data from smart grid and from all your devices, and then with the special algorithms, it calculates what should be the optimal system for you, and then sends this data back to this energy management system. And blockchain, it will be also explained by, I think, Milan later. It's a decentralized ledger that holds and hosts contracts between different actors in this, and this contract, when it's definitive, cannot be changed if you don't agree, if all the parties don't agree. And the rules that are in the contract are enforced automatically. When transactions happen, these rules are already will be carried out automatically. Important is that users are anonymous, contract is public, and transactions are encrypted. So everybody can see what we have agreed, but doesn't know what is happening behind and who is behind. Sorry. Energy bill optimization. This is how we lower our bill for the electricity. I think about 3 ways how we can do it. We can lower our energy consumption, so we can buy new, better appliances. We can switch off some appliances. Then we can consume electricity when it's less expensive or cheaper. Or we can also lower the price of electricity. I was looking at the data and about cost of electricity in Austria per hour, and the most expensive electricity is from 7 to 9 in the morning, and from 4 o'clock to 8 o'clock in the evening. So let's think about something. Some people are showering in the evening, and some people are showering in the morning. So if you're showering in the morning, you wake up 6, 7, do a shower. There is no need to reheat the boiler immediately. We can also heat it a little bit before, and then switch it off at the 7 when the price of electricity is high. We can do our showering, and then we go to the school or to the job, and switch this boiler on at 1 or 2 in the evening, in the afternoon, when the electricity is quite cheap. And then we have already prepared hot water from 4 or 5 in the afternoon. We came back from the job or school and so on. And this is how we can just shift this our power consumption from time slot when the electricity is expensive to time when the electricity is more cheap. Next one is group buying. So we will aggregate users that will be part of community, and we will buy electricity together. So when you have 1,000 or 10,000 users that are buying electricity, you have much more negotiation power than if you are buying by yourself. Actually, if you are buying by yourself, you cannot negotiate. You can just choose which provider you will choose. And that's all. If you are 10,000 users, then you can also make some request to your electricity power supplier. And next one is also power trade. We have heard about photovoltaic and also for the batteries, and we can sell this electricity together. If we are selling a couple of kilowatt hours, it's not very much, but 1,000 or 10,000 users together, there is 20,000 kilowatts hour or 50,000 kilowatts hour. That's quite a bit. And we will sell it to the best bidder. And we can also do something else. We can switch off the devices for a short period of time. So boiler, heating, then air conditioner, all can be switched for a short period of time, so it won't be, the comfort won't be affected. But together, it will combined, this power savings will be something, and it could be sold and to the grid, when it needed, especially when the demand is high. I was also looking at data. In one day, the ratio between the cheapest electricity and the most expensive electricity was 1 to 12. So electricity at the most expensive time was 12 times more expensive than when it was most cheap. That's quite. And in the other countries, I know, let's say for the States, this ratio is even higher. It's 1 per 100. And that's something. You can also discharge your battery if you can sell this electricity 100 times more expensive than when you charge it, even if you charge it from the grid. And if you charge it from the photovoltaic, it's even better. And aggregate the data sale. Oh, yes, we will collect all the data from the devices, process it, and then we will sell it to the power distribution company, power producing company, and other advertisers and so on. And all this income will be then shared with the community. And about crowdfinancing, I think that Milan has something more to say. I won't go to that. And also marketplace will be put in place, and some other things will happen. It could happen in this marketplace, not just this type of transactions. And this, let's say, call it a responsible view, is that if we consume less, we don't just put less pressure on the power generating, but we can also put less load on power grid. And power grid is quite expensive, and it also takes a lot of space. One high voltage power grid takes nearly as much space as highway. And so the good things are here. And say for conclusion, using our smart technology will help you to optimize your electricity bill, in doing it in 3 ways. Enable you to even to earn money selling surplus of energy or to the grid, and you will do also something good for the environment. Any questions? Thank you. So then I would like to call Domen that will explain something more about artificial intelligence.
Okay. Thank you very much. My name is Domen Zupancic, and I will speak some more about cognitive optimization in buildings. So somehow connecting the building automation system with some Robotina component and updating it to building energy management system. So first, I would just like to illustrate the difference. So Mr. Andrei already told us that building automation system is the thing which makes the work done. So it works in high frequencies, so in milliseconds. So the things these are planned to do will be done without any doubt. So the point is to take care for heating, for ventilation, air conditioning things, for lightings. It takes care for safety and security, and so on. One good thing of building automation system is to integrate the solar power plant, to integrate batteries, to integrate heat pumps, and so on. So somehow to connect all these systems on the low level, so that we don't care about the communication stuff, about some other things, but then we can focus on the content of the management system. So building automation system has one problem, that it don't knows exactly how some things to do. I mean, it knows it has schedules. Let's do heating. Let's have some set points for heating. Let's have some set points for cooling. Let's switch on lights when we come in the room, and so on. But sometimes it is a bit difficult if we have some more complex system with batteries and with grid fluctuating, with some energy prices, which already Hubert told you about. So we can think about the dynamic pricing in the future, and therefore we are introducing the IoT linker to connect this building automation system in the cloud, which is our notation as cognitive optimization system, so that this energy management system can take various different requests from user, from grid, from our components installed to make smart and, of course, some optimal decisions which we would like to achieve with this system, with that system. So building energy management system is the one who determines that so what instructions were mentioned before. But how to do this? Would we like to save energy and be somehow efficient, or we would like to increase comfort, experience, or well-being at our home? Would we like to do some trading with energy, so buy at lower price and sell for higher price, which was already mentioned before? And if we know that we have some heat pump with water storage tank, if we have, of course, batteries, or just a water boiler already, Dusan explained you how we could also do some energy shifting. I mean, shifting the buying energy from grid, as that we heat our boiler a bit earlier on the lower price and just consume it later when the price for electric is higher. However, our cognitive optimization system do integrate some various concepts. Especially, we are focused on energy efficiency, on smart grids, and we integrate automation things with security and trying to do some fault detection to improve the reliability of our system. However, it enables some new business models which can be invented by the consumers themselves and share this. And of course, the final ambient assistant living, so monitoring user, how it behaves, and trying to serve him to feel comfortable, and maybe also because of the knowledge of his behavior, also we can do some optimization of energy consumption. Our wishes are contradictory by default, so it's very popular to be green and eco today, but on the other side we would like to feel comfort. So how to manage these things? It's the point of optimization. I'll give you two brief examples how we cope with that. One example will be in the grid trading, and the other will be in comfort management at home. So imagine now here this chart, maybe it's familiar with you from before. So here you can see some areas explaining where this energy comes from or where does it go to. But the most important thing is the apartment's consumption, which is the blue line here. And of course here we have a solar power plant, so this line shows the production. There were some clouds around. However, we can see that this is quite fluctuating thing. So very important here is to have some battery so it can make a buffer to not expose these fluctuations to the grid. However, that was the yesterday. How will be today? We are now at some moment, so what would you like to do? Would you like to sell energy for low price? Would we like to rather store energy and maybe sell later for, so a lot of questions. Should we charge batteries? Should we charge electric vehicle? Will we need it? Will we need heating? So that's actually the question for management. Which action is optimal for my budget, for my environment, and for my comfort? So we should have, firstly, question what will happen in the future. So the first part of the energy management is the prediction. What will happen in the future? Because if we can do some more or less accurate predictions, we can do more or less good plans after. So first, there is measurement. We come to the point when we want to question, shall we buy, shall we sell, shall we charge, discharge, shall we heat the boiler, and so on. So the other part is forecasting, and here is some example. Forecasted energy consumption profile and forecasted energy production profile. When we do this, we have a good baseline to do planning part. So that's the other important part after the forecasting. And we decide, okay, let's charge battery there, we will sell energy, and on the bottom we will consume energy. Maybe this chart is quite intuitive, not so complex, but imagine if we have a lot of components and energy price. Maybe if the price profile would be a bit different, this solution, so this plan would not be relevant. So now I would just briefly jump on the other side, so the comfort and energy management. So I mentioned before that these goals are normally contradictory. More comfort is normally more energy consumption, and vice versa, less comfort is less energy consumption. So we can stay at some normal way, have some schedules, they work, they are quite reflecting our demand. But if we want to increase the comfort, we will have to probably increase the energy consumption. So our quite simple, intuitive, how to say, philosophy is to take care for comfort when it is needed. So for example, if we are at home, let's have better comfort, let's take care that, I don't know, heating will work, that will not save lights and blindly go through home in the darkness. But when we are not at home, let's reduce as possible that consumption. So it can be, it can lead to some saving, but as mentioned before, when we do it all, or for us, the system do for us all, it can together summarize in larger savings. And the other thing is that align setting in order to respect occupants' demand. So it's not necessarily comfortable that we have very warm if we are doing some exercises or if we are working like cooking, but when we are calm, reading the newspaper and drinking coffee, it's maybe better to spend some more energy. So that is our philosophy, and as you can see, so these two ideas we believe that can reduce the consumption for all together. So that's the last slide, and maybe if you have any questions, you are free to ask. No question?
I have one question. Can you please tell us how artificial intelligence within the platform actually helps the HIMS in a household? What the data which comes from the HIMS actually means for the artificial intelligence, and how the algorithms applied within the platform will actually manage to scale the user base when the scaling begins.
Okay, maybe I hope I understand clearly. So for artificial intelligence, really pure artificial intelligence, it's very important that we get some data on which we can do some summaries. So we don't have exact formula. Today the production of energy will be such and tomorrow will be such, but we have to somehow observe the past occurrences after which we can do predictions for next hours or days. Of course, if we have data, for example, anonymized data from consumers together with integration with consumers operating something in building, we have more information which can be exploited to do some predictions. So that's one thing. So we'll say stochastic prediction algorithms, and on the other side, for prediction of energy production with solar plant, we can combine the physically based formula and, for example, the prediction of weather from the weather system. So that's what we use it. For planning, there's a bit different way. We use the optimization algorithms, normally stochastic optimization algorithms. It's mixed integer linear programming, quite well fit into this. but there could be also others. So it is, of course, also the difference if we do planning and prediction for one building, or if we collect buildings together and do the same for a couple of these buildings. So our experience is that it's much harder to do planning for an individual, and it's much easier to do some planning for a bunch of systems. I hope, did I answered you? Welcome. Any other? If not, then I would introduce Mr. Milan Sussman for talking about collaborative and sharing.
Just a second, please. Hello, my name is Milan Sussman. As Doman said, Doman, thank you for introduction. My part today will be to resume this our new idea of new business model, and to tell you how we'll develop our community and involve collaborative sharing economy. Also, we'll explain you about ROX, our ROX utility token, which will be a cornerstone of our new business model. Before we go into details, I would like you to see a short movie, it will be 2 minutes, to give you a basic idea what it's all about.
Electricity is one of Earth's most important commodities, but the way we use it is far from perfect. Constant demand causes uncontrolled peaks in the electricity grid. When that happens, consumers can pay up to 20 times more for their electricity. Is it possible to reduce an electricity bill by up to 30%? Yes, but you need to start to control your house. To take care of this, adjust your thermostat constantly. Switch on your boiler only when it's cheapest to do so. Run your dishwasher only when it's full. Unplug electronic devices when you're not using them. And manage all your appliances manually. You don't have time to do all that. But thankfully, Robotina does. Robotina's smart technology manages your electricity consumption. It can save you up to 30% on your electricity bill, take pressure off the grid, and help the environment by reducing energy waste. So how does it work? It all starts with HEMS, Home Energy Management System. Robotina customers receive and install HEMS, a smart device that keeps track of individual appliances and overall energy consumption. Once HEMS is installed, it starts communicating with Robotina's platform. The system uses AI technology, weather forecasts, and energy price data to optimize your electricity consumption. That's not all. Robotina's smart grid platform enables aggregated data sales, group buying, power trading, smart brokers, crowd financing, Robotina's marketplace. The key to all of this is the Robotina Utility Token, or ROX. It's the universal token of Robotina's platform. Robotina, empowering people.
Okay, to go further. So Robotina IoT platform will be the connection point of electric energy distribution on one side, which has situations or problems with the old, inefficient and electric grid, which is not able to cope today's challenges. On the other side, we have households or consumers which tend to have the lowest possible cost of electricity. So both sides we join together here. How it works? So, as was already mentioned, we install our home energy management system in your house, in your fuse box. We connect it to the platform, and with programming, we optimize your energy consumption on the devices which are connected. For example, boiler, fridge, heating pump, air conditioner, and other. And with that, you can save even up to 30% of your on your electricity. So saving on electricity is just one thing. So you can earn or save even on our services which we are offering on the platform. On the platform, you can earn ROCs, which I mentioned is our utility token, and you can earn it based on savings. The rest we will talk when I will explain you about services. So ROCs as a token, it will be utility token, and it will be used for all business transactions that will happen on the Robotina IoT market platform. What benefits it brings us? It brings us benefits from all activities that will happen, business activities that will happen on the platform. As my colleague Dusan already went into detailed explanation, I will just briefly go through. So you can buy with ROCs token all products from Robotina, and of course you will get additional discount. Data cell, dynamic energy pricing will bring benefits to participants. Internal power trade, group buying, and ESCO crowdfunding. What does it mean? It means that all participants, all ROCs owners, will be invited to fund the potential projects in the market. And of course, as a reward, they will get benefits. Hardware financing as well. So you can participate on our Robotina IoT platform as connected or non-connected user. In both cases, you have benefits. Connected means that you have your HEMS connected from your house to the platform, and not connected, which means you are just participating on our platform and using the services. Our goal, our aim is to build a huge community, to have a lot of participants. Why? Because the bigger community is, the bigger will be benefits which will be shared among community, among participants on our platform. We believe that with our new business model, we are bringing a win-win solution to all involved on the model. So on one side, so on the platform, we are connecting electric distribution and households. We allow them to communicate directly and also act directly. We are using for the businesses enabled on the Robotina IoT platform ROCs token, which brings rewards. And to make all this possible, we added also a blockchain technology which assures a transparent and automatized transactions. With all this story, we believe that we are bringing benefits to everyone who is involved in the chain of in the energy market. Therefore, Robotina empowering people to join with activity on the electric energy market and sharing collaborative economy. This is a short resume about my presentation today. So I would like to invite you, if any questions arise, either for me or still for any colleagues here. Please.
It's a more technical question, but in the first step, you shown us that the customer has to install your hardware into its fuse box.
Yes.
How do you envision to that? It could be a dangerous procedure, I would say. Is something that every customer can do by himself, or? how to overcome this hurdle?
I'm from marketing side and from sales, but will try to answer you anyhow. So the HEMS will be delivered to your house with instructions. Of course, a certain basic knowledge of from electric field is required. So either you have that knowledge, or you will have a list of installers which you can call, and they will install you. So the HEMS, as any device in the market, a technical device in the market, comes with instructions of installation and user's manual. I hope I answered. More? If not, please allow me, I would read two questions which we received during the session on the email. So the first question is, can I get or earn ROCs with HEMS? As I explained you during this, yes, with saving the electricity, of course you can earn ROCs, and also with participating in the marketplace on our IoT platform and with business transactions, you will also be rewarded as a partner of as a member of the community with the rewards. Second question is, how is the taxation for using HEMS? There is no any special taxation different of the today's existing system. This is that was the second question. So if there are no more questions, I would finish this session and would say thank you for your attention and for your questions. And if there is any further question, you may always contact us through the media and also check our website, which is robotina.iso.com. Thank you very much.